racing on Saturday takes place out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. That is Saturday, the 7th of September 2024. 8 races on the program, and race number 1 is set to get underway at 12:35. It will be the start of the Bipot. We've got a doubleheader racing alongside Turfentine. But joining me on the line for this Durbanville preview show is Graham Hawkins. And Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Rahil. Yes, looking forward to this meeting. Dare I say it, the first half of the program looks pretty straightforward. It gets a bit tougher from race 5 onwards, but let's hope that's the way it works out.
Yeah, it looks a bit too good to be true, but hopefully, like you said, hopefully it works out for punters and they're able to cash in on the first half of the program. Race 1, start off the Bipot, 1,000 meters, the trip, maiden plate for fillies and mares, and it is Justin Snaith and Richard Fourie that have got the favourite here, number 7, Be Merry, who's currently trading at 8 to 10 in the market, does return off a slight rest. Last seen when running out at Fairview, and that was finished in 3rd position behind Splice, the main race. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the filly that ran 2nd in the race, Happy Holly, she ran a cracker here in KZN in the Grade 2 debutante.
Yes, she did, and this is pretty decent form. The only question mark, as you mentioned, is the fact that she hasn't raced since the 31st of May. She's been placed in all 4 starts to date, but the Justin Snaith stable has been firing on all 4 cylinders, and Richard Fourie takes the ride. So all signs point to number 7, Be Merry. The Bipot is my suggested bet. You could actually open the Bipot with 4 bankers. I've decided to cover 2 of them, the potential bankers, as you'll see a little bit later on, and I've decided just to throw in number 1, Love Story, just in case. Drawn in pole position, ran 4th behind the very decent Rockapina on debut. Rockapina won that day by 5 or 6 lengths and came out in handicap company the other day to run a very decent 2nd. So I've gone with numbers 7 and 1 in the first leg of the Bipot, but really number 7, Be Merry, should get it right at the 5th time of asking and is difficult to oppose. Just to remind our viewers that number 4, Mrs. Shackleton, ran 3rd on the weekend, under a half a length behind Easy Money. That was against Winners, and she ran 3rd, so that's a form update, but she's going to struggle in this company, I would have thought. So 7 from 1 for me.
7 from 1 for Graham in race number 1, the start of the Bipot. Moving along to race 2, the start of the place accumulator. This is an open maiden over 1,250 meters. 10 past 1 is the off time, and your favorite in the second race on the card is number 9, Boundless Energy, at 7 to 10. 6 to 1 about Bounce Back, 7 to 1 Noble Steed, and then it is 8 to 1 and Better Bar Those. Now, when we have a look at race number 2, number 9, Boundless Energy, he ticked a lot of boxes on debut, but the yard were of the opinion that he's going to need further, and he ran 3rd. I thought it was quite a pleasing introduction, 1,250 meters. How do you see him going around the turn for the first time from a deep draw over 1,250, Graham?
There are a few questions that he has to answer, this horse number 9, Boundless Energy. As you say, I think he'll probably prefer further. He's not going to be in sprint in time to come. All of his siblings have enjoyed going a lot further. He hasn't raced since May. He's got an awkward draw. And there have been no direct winners from 5 runners from that form line. But that all being said, this is not a very deep race. There's not much to talk about amongst the opposition. There are a couple of well-bred first-timers, none of whom seem to be fancied. So clearly number 9, Boundless Energy, has got to be the top choice. His current well-being and fitness has to be taken on trust. But here again in the second leg of the Bipot, I've just thrown one other in, and that's number 3, Blame It On Me. I have no doubt that Boundless Energy is a better thoroughbred than number 3, Blame It On Me, but this is an open maiden. Blame It On Me is a 4-year-old. He receives 5 kilograms from Boundless Energy, and if there are any chinks in the armor of Boundless Energy, in the fact that he's not fully wound up, the fact that he's green in his first start at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, then I'm looking to number 3, Blame It On Me, to fill one of the first 2 positions. The Andre Stein stable have been producing a few runners to find the money. So 9, Boundless Energy has got to be the first selection. I'm covering him in the Bipot with number 3, Blame It On Me. His last couple of runs have been better. I wouldn't have considered this if it wasn't an open maiden. My third choice would be number 4, Bounce Back. Again, Justin Snaith and Richard Ferree. The combination have to be respected. It was a moderate debut, but he's nicely bred, and he could improve significantly on that debut effort. And then watch number 10, Zeitz. He's a well-bred first-timer from the Andre Nel stable. He's drawn out deep. There doesn't seem to be much confidence around for number 10, Zeitz, but he could run a better race than expected on debut. But Boundless Energy is the one that does stand out. He deserves to be at the top of the boards. Like I said, there are a few questions to be answered. I wouldn't be rushing off to take a very, very short price, but I'm happy to make him my top selection, covering him with number 3, Blame It On Me, in the Bipot.
Let's see how number 9, Boundless Energy, does go. Currently at around 7 to 10 in the market. He's got a few questions to answer, as you heard from Graham, but perhaps his ability could pull him through. Next up, race number 3, Maiden Plate, 1400 meters, the start of the pick 6, 13:45 is the off time. Number 1, On My Honor, 14 to 10 favorite. Joie de Flute is at 33 to 10. Mr. Belvedere is at 4 to 1. Audible is at 5 to 1, and then it is 8 to 1. And Better Ball, those repetition is the scratch in here. Now, Graham, number 1, On My Honor, he ran a very, very pleasing race on debut in second to Captain West, who was a fluent winner on that day, and this horse was best of the rest. One draw, experience on his side, 1400 meters set to suit. He could be hard to beat.
I think he's going to be very, very tough to beat. I have a little bit of an inside track on number 1, On My Honor, owned by Sandy and Eugene Arundel, who interestingly also owned the second favourite in the market, number 10, Joie de Flute. Glenn Cotson thinks very, very highly of number 1, On My Honor. We were not surprised he ran well on debut. There was no money. We thought he'd be green. But now with that run under his belt, drawn in pole position, I'd be very, very surprised if number 1, On My Honor, got beat. If you're talking about the ITSSA pair, he's clearly the first choice over and above number 10, Joie de Flute, who's trained by Eric Sands. That's got the worst of the draw, whereas On My Honor's got the best of the draw. So I really do think that On My Honor will shorten even further. He could well start in the red. As I mentioned, he's very, very highly regarded. They think he's well above average. And like I say, I'd be surprised if number 1, On My Honor, didn't win. If he fluffs his lines for whatever reason, then obviously the likes of number 4, Mr. Belvedere, and number 10, Joie de Flute, could be there to pick up the pieces. But I'm putting all my hopes on number 1, On My Honor. I think he's going to progress nicely, and I think he'll win.
All in here, race number 3, number 1, On My Honor, starts off the pick 6, and banker in leg number 1. Moving along to race number 4, 2 is the off time, 1400 meters is the trip, the start of Jackpot 1, Maiden Plate, and Cumbre Vieja is your favorite at 7 to 10. Give That Man a Bells at 4 to 1. Royal Port Louis at 6 to 1, along with Late December, and then it is 12 to 1, and Better Ball those. Now, Cumbre Vieja was back like the result was known last time out, Graham, and he found 1 too good on the day, as he has done at his last 3 outings. 4 draw, Richard Free takes a ride, so the draw is certainly in his favour, and that could make his task that much easier.
Definitely proving frustrating to follow, but I think he's worth another chance in this lineup, so clear first choice and Bipot banker for me, number 4, Cumbre Vieja. If he doesn't get it right this time around, then perhaps we'll have to take another view of number 4, Cumbre Vieja, because he's got the draw in his favour. Richard Ferree rides him for the very first time, and he's solid. His form is solid coming into the race. The interesting runner is number 8, Royal Port Louis. Now, he was off the track for nearly 2 years, from the 19th of November to the 17th of August 2024, 19th of November 2022 to 17 August 2024. So the fact that they've persevered with this gelding, he showed tremendous potential early on in his career. Wasn't a bad effort. He was only 2 lengths behind Cumbre Vieja when they met against +4, who raced away to win on the 17th of August. So it's not inconceivable that number 8, Royal Port Louis, could improve sufficiently with the benefit of that run under the belt to bridge the gap between himself and Cumbre Vieja. Give That Man a Bells was in the same form line, but I think where he is where he is. What you see is what you get with number 9, that Give That Man a Bell. So I can't see Give That Man a Bell's turning the form around with number 4, Cumbre Vija, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility that number 8, Royal Port Louis, could do that. So if you're not in the camp of number 4, Cumbre Vija, as a pick 6 banker, then the one that I would add, or the two that I would add, would be numbers 8, Royal Port Louis, and then number 10, Late December. Awkward draw, obviously. I don't know what went wrong in his last start, but you have to draw a line through that. When judged on his previous 3 starts, all of those form lines have been franked to a greater or lesser extent. So number 10, Late December, just draw a line through that last run. Give him another chance. He's certainly got the form to be competitive here. The draw is not in his favour. So 4, Cumbre Vija, my top choice, ahead of number 10, Late December, number 8, Royal Port Louis, then number 9, Give That Man a Bells. But I think we'll get a very good run for our money out of Cumbre Vija, but he is proving frustrating to follow.
Yep, 7 to 10 the price, about the son of Erupt, and hopefully he can go one better on his recent performances. Next up, race number 5. This will be the start of Jackpot 2, and it's a maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1600 meters. 14:55 is the off time. Favorite here is number 7, Jet to the Sun, at 22 to 10. Fairfield 33 to 10. Exquisite at 33 to 10. Sansa Stark 9 to 2. And then at 6 to 1 and better bar those. I see there's been support for number 4, White Waters, 10 to 1 into 6 to 1. And Forgotten Song, 12 to 1 into 6 to 1. Both 12 to 1 into 10 to 1 rather. And both these horses come from the Vaughan Marshall yard. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go. But Graham, race number 5, what's your thoughts?
Very, very weak race, this maiden plate for fillies mares over 1600 meters. Number 7, Jet to the Sun, is obviously the standout selection based on its last couple of runs. Second to Protect the Dream, not a bad effort when you consider that Protect the Dream came out in handicap company to be placed in her first start beyond the maiden ranks. So to an extent that form has been franked, but she's limited, number 7, Jet to the Sun. I'm intrigued by the fact that Richard Ferree is riding number 3, Exquisite. I'm sure that he would have been offered the ride on number 7, Jet to the Sun, trained by Justin Snaith. It's not often that Craig Zaki rides for Justin Snaith. He did ride a winner for him over the weekend, but has Richard Ferree opted for number 3, Exquisite, which is improving, lightly raced, 3-year-old daughter of Rafif from the informed Brett Crawford stable. Obviously, Justin Snaith and Brett Crawford, their stables from Futura Park in Philippi, have been going along very nicely, and they've been dominating the outcome of most of the race meetings that we have had to date. So I'm marginally in the camp of number 3, Exquisite, only because I believe there's a lot more upside. But number 7, Jet to the Sun, won't be easy to crack in this kind of lineup. So 3 and 7 for me are the ones that stand out in this race, ahead of numbers 8, Sansa Stark, and 2, Fairfield. But I really do believe that both Sansa Stark and Fairfield have had more than their share of opportunity. So 3 and 7 for me.
3 and 7, the numbers for Graham in race number 5 over 1600 meters. Next up, race number 6. This is a Cape Sea Stakes over 1800 meters. 3:30 is the off time, and it does look to be a very, very trappy contest. Your favorite here, number 1, Mohandas, 4 to 1. 7, Ignatius, 4 to 1. 9 to 2, About Quite a King. 5 to 1, Southern Song. Greenland, 6 to 1. And then it is 10 to 1 and better bar those. Now, Graham, in terms of the pick 6, this looks to be a bit of a field race.
No doubt about it. This, for me, is a very, very tough race. Cape Sea Stakes, 1800 meters. They pretty much all have winning claims. I've gone with no fewer than 7 horses in this leg of the Bipot because we've been able to go very light earlier on. My hesitant top choice would be number 10, Southern Song. He won a good race last time out when beating King Palace. Now that he's found his form, he might continue to hold that sort of form. He's had 7 previous starts at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He's yet to win there, but he's run second on 3 occasions and third on 1 occasion and fourth on 2 occasions. So if you look at it from a different perspective, he's been in the money 6 out of 7 at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. The draw is awkward, but as we mentioned a moment ago, the Brett Crawford stable, Louis Mkotwa, they're in good form. So hesitant top choice would be number 10, Southern Song, in a very, very competitive race. Mohandas, even the Lunga Gila stable's been going along very nicely. Also trains out at Futura Park, so his horses have had the benefit of better work than perhaps those at Milnerton. He's drawn in pole position. He ran second to King Pellis, so the King Pellis name features there. Southern Song beat King Pellis, and then King Pellis came out to beat Mohandas, but Mohandas has got the run of the race from draw 1. Etoile Falante was a maiden winner last time out. Quite a King was a maiden winner last time out. Norshan pops up when you least expect him to do so. Watch for big improvement from number 6, Join the Dots. Number 7, Ignatius, is obviously the one that's top of the boards in a weak market, but hasn't won for 707 days. So the Richard Ferree factor is certainly coming into play as far as the anti-post market is concerned. But all of that being said, Ignatius does have as strong a claim as most of the other runners. Touchdown will improve in my view. So I'm not going to be of much help here because I do think it is a field race.
And quite an interesting contest. And when you have a look at the horses that have run over the trip, well, only Southern Song is the one that's been able to win over 1,800 meters. So perhaps Southern Song could be the one that you look to play around and structure a few trifectas and quartets with in race number 6. And the Southern Song, that is currently at around 5-1. Next up, race number 7. And this contest gets underway at 4:05. 1,250 meters is the distance. Favorite here is Please Be True at 7-2. Trippy Silk 4-1, 5-1 Tambourine Man, 5-1 Winter Pearl, 7-1 About One Liner, 8-1 and Better Ball. Those now, One Liner was a winner on debut despite going off at around 25-1 in the market. There was a bit of confidence. I remember reading the comment in the front of the computer form. There was Michelle Ricks was quite upbeat about this horse's chances, and he won on debut, beating Walk With Me, and that form has been franked quite nicely, Graham.
Difficult to know what to expect from number 10, One Liner. As you say, won well on debut, albeit narrowly at big odds. As you say, there was a certain amount of positivity around. The form line has been franked. So healthy respect for number 10, One Liner, 3-year-old son of One World. As we said right at the top of the show, the first half of the program looked quite straightforward. It gets a lot trickier the second half of the program, and this race, this class 4 handicap over 1,250 meters, is certainly no different. So you've got to respect number 13, One Liner, and another son of One World, number 7, Please Be True. Didn't win on debut, but won second time out, and Empire State has come out to frank that form. So those are the two unexposed 3-year-olds that have only had a few runs, or only one run behind their name. That's numbers 7, Please Be True, and number 10, One Liner. But you know, at this time of the year, you know my play. It's difficult to know whether they've been correctly rated, what to expect. They come up against hard-knocking older horses. So there's no doubt that they're the class acts of the race, 7, Please Be True, and 10, One Liner. But I'm looking to number 9, Winter Pearl, to delivers one twice at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Just the other day, Ricky Maingard had a double on the afternoon. He doesn't send out too many runners. He doesn't have a big stable. But Winter Pearl was second behind Escarpment last time out back in June. Likes the course, so I'm looking for a competitive run from number 9, Winter Pearl, who's marginally my top choice ahead of number 7, Please Be True. 5, Trippy Silk has the kind of form to be competitive in this class 4 and deserves respect. So those are the top 4 for me, 9, 7, 5 and 10. But that being said, could there be an upset? Absolutely. Could the likes of Night Tiger, Parrot Troop and Prince of Tibet overcome their poor draws and upset the apple cart? Whistles on Fire has got to improve on his last run and might well do so. So it's a competitive class 4 handicap, but if you're narrowing it down or wish to narrow it down to a quartet of runners, then in order of preference I'd be going 9, 7, 5 and 10.
I think even if you are looking for a bit of an upset, this horse number 1, Mighty Mac, he's run well at the course, gate number 1. Doesn't arrive in inspiring form, but he is capable of an upset at around 33-1 in the market. So maybe he could be worth an inclusion for trifectas and quartets. Next up, race number 8. This will be the final race on the day, and probably by far the best race on the program. And as they say, save the best for last. 16:40 the off time. Cape A Stakes, 1,250 meters. And Graham, it seems to be a quality field that line up for the final race out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday. Questioning 4-1, Silver Falcon 11-2, along with We're Jamming, and then it is 7-1 and better bar those. Your thoughts?
Very, very good race, as you've mentioned. Silver Falcon has won 4 times from 6 starts at the course and distance form, 3 wins from 5 starts. He's drawn in pole position. It's Richard Free and Justin Snay. So for me, number 1, Silver Falcon, despite having 61.5 on his back, has got to be the one they all have to beat. But immediately you turn to questioning, who also carries 61.5. He's unbeaten at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, not necessarily over this distance, but he's had 2 starts at Hollywoodbets Durbanville for 2 wins, and we know that questioning is a high-class 4-year-old son of Kerari. So from the point of view of the cream rising to the top, that would be number 1, Silver Falcon, and number 7, Questioning. But it doesn't end there. Not well drawn are numbers 12, Bereave, and 13, Future Variety. They're both top quality sprinters. Bereave has only had 1 start over Track and Trip. He won that. He's had 2 starts at Hollywoodbets Durbanville for a win and a second. So the course is not a problem for him, but the draw of 12 could well be. Future Variety's drawn even further out. He was disappointing last time, but certainly his form before that was top class. He's had previous experience of Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He's been there twice for 2 seconds. What I'm expecting from Future Variety is from that draw, Morne Vinna is going to drop him out to right near the back of the field, and he could come storming home. Then you add into the mix the likes of Weird Jamming, Zapatilis, who's having his first run as a gelding, We Can Go All Night, and Sugar Mountain. And what it all adds up to is a very, very, very good race. But in trying to narrow it down, 1, Silver Falcon, my top choice, ahead of number 7, Questioning. Then number 13, Future Variety, and number 6, We Can Go All Night. But there are a couple of runners here that will need a run, but mostly they're all competitive in this kind of race.
An exciting race to end off proceedings on Saturday for us at 16:40 over 1,250 meters. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Graham will take us through his suggested bet, which is a Bipot, and that will commence with the running of race number 1 at 12:35. Graham, take it away.
Well, as I mentioned, we could actually go with 4 bankers, but it's not necessarily always as easy as that. So I've decided to hedge my bets in 2 of these opening 2 legs of the opening 4 legs. So going numbers 1, Love Story, and 7, Be Merry. In the first leg, Be Merry, the obvious top choice. Second leg, I'm going numbers 3, Blame It On Me, and 9, Boundless Energy, 3 and 9. Then banker number 1, On My Honor. I'd be seriously disappointed if this horse didn't win. And then banker number 4, Kumbra VJ. If you want to add 1 more there, I would add number 10, Late December, and even possibly number 8, Royal Port Louis. But Kumbra VJ, certainly on form, should get us at least into the top 2. Then the penultimate leg, going with numbers 3, Exquisite, and 7, Jet to the Sun. 3 and 7 in the penultimate leg. And the last leg, which is the toughest leg by far, all of numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, and 10. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, and 10 in the final leg of that Bipot.
Bipot will cost you just 48 Rand for 1 full unit, and I like that Bipot. It looks to be quite a nice bet on the day, especially if you manage to beat the favourites in the first 2 legs and you come through with a horse like Love Story and Blame It On Me. Well, you are certainly sitting in for pretty dividend after race number 6. Graham, thanks very much for your time, and all the best. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much, Rahil. You too.
All the best with racing out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday.